Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies, and today we are talking, I don't know why.
You're ranking every single X-Files episode.
We already did that.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
I'm not going through this. Okay, that's it.
Safi, she had some sort of a, see, I should never let her know that I was recording because she assumed that because I was recording those ranking sessions as filler videos, she assumed that that was some sort of like a part of the video. It's pretty weird. So she was kind of like trying to get out
Marco
of doing the rankings.
just can't leave the X-Files, so we have to...
No, the reason why we had to do this now is because I was trying to give Safi extra time. Since the last time we had to do a big ranking thing, she had a fit because she didn't have any time. And so I gave her all this extra time for this video.
Okay, well this video is really supposed to be about the bottom 10, and you're talking about...
I'll talk about all of them, but...
218 episodes, which includes 2 movies.
Yeah.
So it's 280 things, mostly 99% episodes. And, 11 seasons?
Yeah.
And
I have some statistics. So, basically what we did, and something that I like to do to make things easier, is I like to break it up into tiers. Like, those tier list videos that people make. And so I have the F tier, D, C, B, A. And then S for the top 10 best. So actually, I added another tier at the bottom called the Fuck You tier, and that's for the top 10 worst. And for statistics, 16% of the episodes are Fs, 16% are Ds, 21% are Cs, 20% are Bs, and 26% are As. So, a large percentage of the show is pretty good. It's pretty equal. I will say, though, that I kind of think it is telling a little bit that there are so many C episodes. 21%, that's more than the Bs. And so basically you have As and Cs are the top ones. And so I think that it supports my theory that remember I said early on, these people, they put all their attention into the alien episodes, and then all the other episodes they didn't give a fuck about. And that totally supports it. Because I would say that's true. You have all these average episodes that, you don't really even care about. Like, I'll get to them, and just they're so, like, forgettable. Like, the titles make them impossible to even remember. So, anyway, Safi, you ready for the Fuck You tier?
okay, well this is the worst. These are the worst episodes, and the movies are included, unfortunately. Because I imagine they cost a lot more to make. I could be wrong. And they're the worst of the worst, and there's, like I said, 218 items.
Yeah, so we're going to start off at the very worst and work our way up. Go ahead, Safi.
Okay, the worst is My Struggle 3,
Ugh.
Season 11.
This
And
fucking episode.
what happened was, in the Season 11, there were actually 3 of these My Struggles.
No, there's 4.
Or 4, okay? God, unbelievable.
It is strange how many episodes are named after Hitler's autobiography title.
Weird. So, basically, the 2 episodes that were My Struggle before this one, they had something, well, I'll explain because they're, at least 2 of the others are in the worst the bottom 10.
Yeah, so 3 out of the 4 my struggles. And I'll tell you something, too, audience, is that if I had just made this list myself, I would have definitely taken out Dead Alive and Shapes, which will be coming up, and I would have put in the other My Struggle, as well as The Field Where I Died, and the Christmas one, too. Because those are episodes that I feel like they deserve to be in the top 10 worst, but that's how bad these top 10 worst episodes are. They're so terrible that it even makes it to where we can't put... They're so bad. They're just they're unbeatably bad.
But really, kind of, this is what we were saying about when a TV show makes a season and they only have 6 episodes, there's no room for error.
Yeah.
And the thing about all these seasons now, they made more at the beginning, and it whittled down until they made how many were in the last season?
Well, no, the last season they actually added a couple more because season 10 was only 6.
Okay.
I think season 11 was like 10 episodes, maybe.
So that gives you, and
10
especially
chances.
when you're having a bad time or you've decided to give up on the series, it gives you more room to have some bad episodes.
Yeah, it gives you room to experiment, and it's actually really hilarious because Vince Gilligan, he's the one who started the bullshit theory of overstaying your welcome, which is probably the most anti-creative thing I've ever heard in history of writing. Like, of everything. Like, it's even worse than, like, the people who tell you that you have to, like, write everything in a formula, like the hero's journey, and everything has to be 3 acts, and, but...
You're putting limitations on your writing.
Yeah, it's like whatever limitations that go on writing are not good limitations, because what you can do is you can do a lot, and afterwards you can always trim down.
That's right. That's what they say to do.
You can never add. You can only trim down,
right.
And that's what Stephen King does. And that's why his first draft of The Stand was 1,000 pages long, and then he trimmed it down. It was only 600 or whatever, and then the people actually preferred the director's cut of The Stand, the longer version. But Vince Gilligan, we were reading about the ex-cops, and it's so hilarious because he said exactly what we've been saying back when he was writing good television and not Better Simp Kim, season 6. He was saying in season 7 that the season had so many episodes, they've been going on for so long, they could take chances and
right.
and experiment and do things that, they wouldn't have been able to do if they had only gone on for like 10 episodes and 5 seasons. And it's true. It's like Vince Gilligan himself admitted that. And now he's still gone the total opposite direction, where it's like, no, you have to know when you leave the party, Safi. I mean, is that even true, Safi? Like, is that really accurate? Like, don't people stay to the end of the party so that they can help the people clean everything up?
It just depends.
Like, isn't that the good thing to do, actually, instead of leave? Like, they're basically saying, like, they're such douchebags. They go to a party, and then they leave. And, like, they make their little exit so that, like, ooh, people at least know that we were here.
Well,
They'll remember.
What you can do is you can start help cleaning up and then leave. And just not do everything. But just start picking up but not be one of the final ones. I don't know.
But this bullshit with you gotta know when you leave the party.
No, that's just ridiculous. What if you had what if people, famous artists, Van Gogh, or I can't think of anybody right now, but Michelangelo, what if they said, what if they put limitations on their work, and they didn't experiment around? And
You gotta know when you gotta stop painting. You gotta know when you gotta stop doing sculptures.
You know, like there's certain artists are known for their brush work, and Van Gogh had a specific brush work, and then there was that other guy, I can't remember, who did dots.
If you do more than 10 paintings a year, you are overstaying your artistic welcome.
Yeah, and they're just ridiculous. So it's the same writing and TV and plays, and it's, yeah, you do have to edit. That's true, but as far as like the content, if you can come up with more stories, I mean, X-Files, we hear about stuff like X-Files all the time, even today. Things will come up in the news, really weird anomalies, which they could make X-Files from.
Yeah, like how Safi, she was watching American Horror Story, and she was like, I don't like this. And it's like, see, that's an X-File, because everyone is supposed to like that show.
Well,
The season 3, the overrated season. So, the worst episode of the whole series is My Struggle Part 3 from season 11. This episode was so terrible, it literally, it was so infuriating, it made us both not want to even watch the rest of the show.
well, it was like a slap in the face.
It was a huge slap in the face, all because Chris Cop-Out Carter had to cop out. I mean, this episode should have been called My Cop-Out, because what they did was, instead of continuing off of season 10, which was, a much better story than this, they chose to say, oh, it was all a vision, it was all a dream, and it's actually her vision of the future. And it doesn't even make any sense, because the visions don't line up with reality. Because one of the things is, for some reason, both of them have hair changes. Like, both of their hairstyles are completely different out of nowhere. And it was like a total reboot of a reboot. Like, this was a reboot of season 10, which was already a dulled down X-File show. Safi?
Yeah, it was, I mean, it has been done in TV before, but people really don't like it. And they did this with Dallas, that show Dallas.
Yeah,
And
it was
remember-
all a dream.
And even people who didn't watch it, this was put in the newspaper and on the news about that everything, the whole season was a dream. And people were really mad. I remember.
And they were really,
I didn't watch
hopefully,
the show, but it was so, what they did was so prominent, to say that a whole season was just a dream. It was like very noteworthy. And so even if you didn't watch it, everybody heard about it in a negative way. I didn't hear anybody say anything positive about it.
well, see, the thing is with this, is that people were pissed off, and this season is widely considered one of the worst seasons, if not the worst season. Mm-hmm. And practically no one says the season is good. But the thing is that the show was already way less popular, because people didn't like season 10, so they weren't going to come back and watch season 11. And so I think if the show had just as many viewers as they did back in the day, then there would have been a riot. Because this was so blasphemous what they did. I mean, we haven't even mentioned yet the fact that they made it to where Cigarette Man raped Scully, and he impregnated her with William.
Yeah, it's not David Duchovny's, or let's just say Mulder's baby at all. It was the smoking man's baby.
And what it does, too, is it ruins that episode in Amy, in season 7, because now, in hindsight, that episode, canonically, is when Cigarette Man raped Scully off camera. Which is just so, it's just like completely anti-character. Not only that, but he's also sleeping with Reyes. They have this twist where it's literally like Star Wars, where you have the Emperor and Darth Vader, and she's kind of like the Darth Vader character. Her hair even kind of makes her head kind of shaped like the Darth Vader helmet.
Yeah.
And Cigarette Man is the Emperor. But they're
He's
sleeping.
nuts.
They're sleeping together, and he's forcing her to sleep with him, and help him, and it's so anti her character, and it's so disrespectful what they did with her character because it doesn't make any sense. It is totally anti X-Files, and it's a huge slap in the face. It's a huge disgrace to the series. And it should be erased from history.
Okay, well, the second worst episode would be
217.
I Want to Believe, the movie.
Yeah,
the second movie.
The second movie. This, to me, I would have put this easily as the worst X-Files thing, because it doesn't even feel like X-Files.
No.
But the thing is that My Struggle 3, the choices that they make to go against the whole series in terms of like Reyes and things, that makes that episode worse. So this movie, though, ooh.
Yeah, Scully has basically given up on the X-Files. And, we had to hear an entire series about William this, William that, William. And of course all of her religious struggles and all of her family getting mad at Mulder, like her brother really, and leading her astray, and he's a kook, and just all this crap. And she's gone through a lot, and it's real what she's gone through, what she's seen. And then she says, I'm a doctor, and I don't want to deal with this anymore. Can't you just, because he was interested in investigating whatever, or just continuing to investigate X-Files problems, or things that came up.
Well, there was that stupid thing, too, where she's asking him to come back, and they're living together, but, and he's doing the X-Files at home or something, and she's like, will you come back? And he's like, yeah, if I get a helicopter ride, I'll come back. And it's like, what was that for?
He just wanted he wanted a helicopter ride to
that's bizarre.
Headquarters, FBI headquarters.
And the movie is so colorless, like, when I was watching it, it was really cold in the room where I was sitting, and it was so terrible because the movie was ice cold, there was no color in the picture, and it just, everything felt cold watching this movie. It was one of the most unpleasant experiences, and the characters are like wooden cardboard cutouts, and they did the edgy thing, the wannabe edgy thing where they have to give someone a beard because that automatically makes a story darker. So they gave Mulder this ugly ass fake beard.
It looked terrible. They didn't do a good job.
Scully looks like a fucking prostitute. Would you agree with that?
She looked like a giraffe.
No, that was season 10.
Oh.
In season 10,
that's right.
They make Scully look like a giraffe wearing clothes.
And they made her hair and makeup made her face longer.
Yeah.
And it looked terrible.
Yeah.
I almost couldn't get over it. It's like that
I couldn't even watch it.
It's like that movie with Amy Adams, the agoraphobia, where she wore that ugly dress, or no, it was a nightgown, and it was so ugly. I couldn't stand the movie just because of what she wore. And if I would have had that outfit at the end of the movie, I would have burned it. It's awful.
Well, I would burn all the copies of season 10, 11, and multiple episodes from past seasons. But this movie, it doesn't even feel like an X-File. Like, the mystery that they're solving is some random, like, organ head transplant thing. Like, just really dumb. And then they have this pedophile priest character, and he says, I castrated myself when I was 26. And, like, there's lots of terrible lines like that. It's just a terrible movie. It's abysmal. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's lifeless. It's soulless. It's joyless. It's like eating...
Rocks.
It's like eating a razor blade with X-Files name branding on it.
Okay, well, the next... it's number 216, would be the first X-Files movies, Fight the Future.
And already, like, Safi, that title is just so cringeworthy.
It's almost like, I don't know, it's like a Marvel movie or something.
Yeah.
Or the Karate Kid.
Well, it's like...
I know, it just doesn't... Or I know, the...
X-Files...
Back to the Future.
No.
So it's Fight the Future, not Back to the Future. Fight the Back to the Future.
No, this is like an X-Files Tumblr teenage girls fan fiction title.
Well,
Like,
I
Fight
it's
the
like
Future.
a pat yourself on the back movie.
It was because, like, they shortened season 5 so that they could film this movie, and it's like, to me, this was another slap in the face, because when you think about you're getting to see an X-Files movie, it should have been incredible. It should have been a spectacular spectacle of awesomeness, but it wasn't. It was just another terrible mess of a movie. The story was trash. The characters were trash. There's nothing good about it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Except for the lone gunman showing up for like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, well, the next one is episode...
Don't you have anything else to say?
No, not really.
Why?
The problem with the movie, it was done in the middle of a TV season. Why would you do that? Because, back then, because this was this wasn't a really late season, this was an earlier season where you had more episodes, and basically you're stretching the actors thin.
Well, remember, they were full of themselves and had this plan
That too.
where they would stop the series and then they make 3 movies and never do X-Files again, which is just fun. It's just fucking retarded.
I don't know if they weren't reading their audiences correctly or they really are stupid. Because to do a movie in the middle of the same a series of the same name and content and actors. So for the series, the actors were able to do like all the scenes together, and there were limitations on what they could do because they were doing the movie too.
Well, that was another thing. Remember, Safi, there were those episodes where Mulder was hardly in the episodes.
Wow.
Like the Christmas and Emily ones. That was because Mulder was shooting the movie.
Right.
And, like, why...
Why would you make I mean, to me, that would make yourself stressed out.
Yeah.
And in fact, it would take away from both. It would take away from the movie, and it would take away from the series. Because you're stretching your actors too thin. They're all over the place. In fact, they must have been exhausted. I don't know how they could do that. It's just stupid. It's a stupid thing. So it affected the movie. It was no good. And there's nothing more to say. It's stupid.
Fight the Future, Safi.
Yeah, okay. The next one, 215,
What's the title? Read
is
it.
capital RM9 SBG 93 ZXJZ. And that is a what do you call it?
Season 11 episode.
It's a season 11 episode,
And-
but it's a the number that's on an item that you buy that identifies what it is.
Oh, zip
It's a
code.
code.
Zip code.
No, it's not a zip code.
QR code.
No.
Social security code.
No.
Passcode.
Whatever. This refers to all the new electronic devices that were coming out and new ways to like order your food in a restaurant. And then when Mulder didn't do what he was supposed to do when he ordered the food, the electronic restaurant turned on him, and then all the machines, it was like they all got together, like let's say one of those little circular robotic vacuums, the cell phones, everything electronic.
They all rebelled against Sculler and Molly.
Yeah, and that's not an X-Files episode.
It felt like a Black Mirror episode, even though I've never seen an episode of Black Mirror.
Well, I thought it was like a Twilight Zone episode.
It was terrible. It was really good at first because actually no, it wasn't. They had this really cringeworthy opening scene where there's an AI, and it's a female AI, of course, because it's very progressive, and it's absorbing what people say online, and then they show like feminism sucks, and then right after that they show that like Hitler was right, and it's like how does that even like have anything to do, one have to do with the other? Like there's no correlation. Just because you hate feminism, which I think everyone does now, except for feminists. Right, Safi?
They've just carried things too far.
Yeah, feminism sucks.
Well, you have to have some kind of a balance.
No, feminism isn't about balance. It's about
that's right. The way it is now, anyway.
It's always been like that. Look up.
No, Marco, that is not true, because I was there at the beginning
of it. It was a big mistake. Big mistake.
Well, we're not going to argue about feminism. I just want to get this over with.
Well, the thing is that opening scene already pissed me off. Because they're trying to make it like, oh, there's all these people online. They're all terrible, toxic men who just sit around. They're all racist. They're all Holocaust deniers or whatever. And, like, it's so, like, 2022 level writing where it's like the person who wrote this, they're retarded. They have a mental retardation problem. They don't understand reality, and so they're writing this kind of like political propaganda fan fiction, and then the episode starts, and it starts off really good where they're in this sushi restaurant, and the sushi restaurant is really creepy and there's no one there.
No other customers, and that should have given them an inclination or red flag that it's not a good place to eat.
Well, that was the weird thing, was the whole episode felt like they were in an alternate universe because there was nobody else around ever.
No help, nothing. It was all done by machines.
And so I was excited because I thought I'd love to see a whole episode take place in this sushi restaurant. But then as soon as they leave, there are so many plot holes in this episode, inconsistencies, just the fact that you could never, there would be so many lawsuits out of this episode. There would be so many fucking, like, Mulder and Scully would be rich forever. Like, they would be able to own, like, countries with the money that they would get from the damages that they faced from this episode. And so it's just so unrealistic and so stupid. It's boring. It's dull. It's like something Safi would write for the X-Files.
It should have been good, but it wasn't an X-File. That was the main problem. It was not an X-Files episode. It was like a Twilight Zone episode. It would have been a perfect one if Rod Serling was alive.
No, Rod Serling wouldn't have approved this feminazi bullshit.
Well, no, but just the fact that electronic devices turning on the person using them would be the subject of the episode, but that's not an X-Files episode because it just isn't. So anyway, the next one is
My Struggle.
My Struggle.
Part
And
1.
It's the very first one of these 4 series of 4 episodes, and Mulder came back, and both of the actors were just phoning their performances in. And, you know, I hear people say that now. I've heard people say that recently, and you don't really know what it means until you see it yourself.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It really becomes clear what that means.
It's so cringeworthy because you just think about how, like, privileged these actors are, that they're, like, coming to set, getting paid millions of dollars so that they can not even do their jobs correctly.
And that's the thing is, it's a job. And it should be a fun job. And it's like, really, they just took things for granted. And I just don't understand that attitude. But a lot of people will never get to act. They won't even get to make an appearance in anything. And just think when they die, the actors die, they have everything that they did, every show and everything, it's all over the place. There's books and comic books and art and cards and figures and there's the canisters of film or whatever, and they'll be on that forever. They have their memories will be on there. They're lucky. And for them to take these things for granted, it really irritates me. That's one thing that is my pet peeve. This acting like crap and just phoning your performance in and acting like you're just kind of like there, barely there, because you don't want to do it.
And for Mulder, for David Duchovny, it was all because he was not interested. First off, he quit Californication, which was the best thing he ever did by far. And then he wanted to start this shitty ass show that nobody even cares about called Aquarius. And like nobody even remembers that show. Like probably like that show was so bad that like nobody even watched it. Like after the first episode, like people were like, what is this? Like, what is this? Like, because people were going to give it a chance because it had David Duchovny and it was something he really wanted to do it, and he pitched it to like HBO or something. And it was funny though, because even on Aquarius, he was not even acting. Like, he was just, David Duchovny. Who's this guy, Charles Manson? God, this is a bad guy. That's what you sounded like.
I would like to have seen, supposedly he was a guest recently on the Drew Barrymore show. That's a daytime talk show with Drew Barrymore.
Oh, well, we need to watch his refrigerator video where he shows his fridge and he shows the TikTok sandwiches that his daughter mixed for him.
Well, anyway, I would have liked to have seen what he was like. Marco met him, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I met David Duchovny.
And he was a very, very respectful.
Yeah,
nice.
He's very nice, and he doesn't act like he's on the show where he's selling out. So he vehemently has some sort of a popsicle stuck inside him that just makes him act like that on the X-Files.
I guess so. All right, I put my glasses back.
We haven't even talked about the episode.
Well, the episode.
We haven't even talked about the fact that Scully, she not only looked like a giraffe with clothes on, but her voice, for some reason, seasons 10 and 11, she sounds like this, and she can barely talk, and she's struggling to compete.
Well, she's like me. Sometimes, I'll be coughing and Marco get mad at me for coughing because my throat is so dry.
Yeah.
I can hardly talk. And then, I am watching Monk right now, and there was an episode where he's in Mexico and he can't get the water that he needs, so he hasn't had anything to drink or eat in like 48 hours at the minimum, and he talks the same way because his throat is so dry. He needs something to drink, and he can't, and because he has these phobias, he can't. So that's what she sounds like.
Yeah, she sounds like that the
She
whole
needs
time.
something to drink.
It's very annoying because
And she
it's
did
like,
that on purpose.
we think she clearly did it on purpose, which makes it even
Why
worse.
would you do that?
It's like, oh, gross. So the number one thing this does is Mulder and Scully are no longer together. And that is a typical thing that these modern things do, where the man is not with the woman anymore so she can be strong and independent women. So they're already doing agendas with that. Number two, most of the episode is devoted to Joel McHale, as he plays this annoying, swarmy, conspiracy theorist radio host, but he's not even believable. He like, they did not get the right actor to play this character, and the thing is that after watching the series finale, we realized that this character should have been the lone gunman, because his whole purpose at the end of the day in this series was to just tell the news and tell these conspiracy theories. It would have been so much better to see the lone gunmen on television together.
Yeah.
They could have had this guy as their producer. They still could have had Joel McHale. He could have been their producer along with Jimmy Bond. That would have been great. This episode's trash.
Okay, next.
My Struggle Part 2.
And I promise you that will be the last my struggle that we struggle with in the bottom 10.
Well, Safi, you struggle with everything, so I wouldn't say. So this is the finale of season 10, and Safi, it's a huge mess. Like, it's just one of those mythology episodes where you're just like, who cares? Like, nobody cares about this stupid mythology crap that they keep on going on and on about. There's this whole, like, virus thing that Cigarette Man, he just wants to kill everyone for some reason with a virus.
He's gone off the wall.
And Scully has the cure. She got to figure out the cure. And the younger version of Scully, the redheaded Californication wannabe actress, and the other guy, the fake Mulder, I guess you'd say, they're involved with it. It's like all the characters have come together to tell this crappy story, and it ends on a cliffhanger. And admittedly, this was a better episode than the first part and then the third part, so it wasn't as bad as those two. I will give it that.
And I think those two actors added something, and it was just an interesting story. I mean, if it can happen, and we just had something like that happen, but not quite, but still an epidemic, and where people are just filling up the ERs, and they're all over the place, dropping like flies, because it's an alien virus. And only Scully and that other FBI girl can come up, and the other FBI girl's sick. But see, Scully can't get sick because she's immune. She's the only one around that has the immunity.
Then at the very end, she discovers the cure. She cures the Californication wannabe actress, and she meets Mulder on the highway.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Bumper to bumper traffic.
Oh, and then she's about to get abducted. And it's like, see, I actually kind of like the cliffhanger. I was excited to see what would happen, but then you had that part 3 episode, which ruined everything.
Said it was all a dream.
Yeah.
It never happened. So it was stupid. It's like, why did I even bother watching this?
I know.
Okay, well, the next, you have two, this is going to be two more of the bottom 10.
No, there's 4 more.
4 more?
Yeah.
That's not what I have.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I have 4 more. Yeah.
Safi, do you need to listen to
no, I just for some
the
reason
count?
I did not look at these top ones. Okay, well the next one is 212, and it's called Dead Alive. And when Marco sent this to me, it had season, and then after that it was a face. And so anyway, what happened? This was a stupid ass, infuriating episode, which it just makes you want to kick the TV.
Really?
Yeah. And what happened was Mulder had been dead for 3 months, and all of a sudden he came back to life. Now how in the hell? This isn't within hours. Like, oh, they say somebody's at a funeral home and they haven't been fixed up yet, and then they pop up and they're still alive. This actually has happened in real life. I don't know, last year, I think. And I don't remember, somebody's grandma or aunt or something. And I don't know, I mean, this happened for real. So, I mean, that's what I say. X-Files didn't have to end because the material is there to make X-Files shows.
Well, Safi, the thing is that they made up this excuse where he wasn't ever dead. He had an alien virus, and it was making it appear as though he was dead or something. And he just had to be cured from the alien virus,
like voodoo.
And then it's really gross where they have the people shedding the alien skin or something. It's really gross, the effects in this episode. It's just, I wouldn't say it's a terrible episode like Safi thinks, but this is one of those ones where it's definitely, she really hated it because it's like, as stupid as that.
I mean, just what in the heck were they thinking? It's just like, like being kicked in the face.
Oh, I know, Safi. Remember, and we haven't talked about this on camera, but David Duchovny, he wanted to make Mulder like Jesus. And so, what happened with him?
He got resurrected.
He died, and he came back to life after 3 days. And with Mulder, he died, and he came back to life after 3 months. That's what they were trying to do, Safi. That's what they're
making. In other words, this isn't part of the episode that he says he's like Jesus, or he wants to be like Jesus. This is something he wanted in real. You just say in real life.
Yeah, David Duchovny. He was responsible for season 7 being so trash, and one of his big ideas was that Mulder could be like Jesus.
Oh, stupid. Okay, next one is called Fight Club.
Season 7.
And that's season 7. And basically, this has Kathy Griffin in it. And I've never seen her in anything
she's
except...
She's a cringeworthy C-word who likes to go around on Twitter and do really weird, nasty shit. And
well, I've never had a problem with her at all. If she's
a huge feminazi. She's a huge cringeworthy bad actress, and this whole episode is just her and her bad acting.
What happened was it's supposed to be her and her sister, or just another woman who looks just like her.
No, it's her twin sister.
Oh, it is? Okay, it is her twin sister, and everywhere they go, they end up going. They don't go together. They always just end up in the same place.
Yeah.
And they have to move around a lot because everywhere they go, a horrible problem happens.
And they start fighting, and there's stuff that flies everywhere.
People get hurt.
And
people get killed.
One of the things they do is they date the same man on accident.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know how you come up with an episode like this, but it's not very good.
Well, it seems like something Kathy Griffin probably came up with.
I don't think so.
Like, the thing is that this doesn't even feel like an X-File Mulder
I
and
don't know what it
Scully.
is.
Mulder and Scully are hardly in it. Most of it is just Kathy Griffin. She's horrible. She's awful. She's like nails on a chalkboard. She's ugly. I don't like looking at her. I don't like listening to her talk. She's just the worst. She can go jump off a cliff with her shitty ass blue checkmark friends on Twitter who are probably going to quit Twitter now because they're too much of a bitch to stay on there with Elon taking over.
No, there's more to it than that, and I've heard about it today.
No.
And it has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with the advertisers who do Twitter, and apparently he fired a ton of people.
And he fired a ton of feminazis who deserve it.
People they advertise their products and services
They're
on Twitter.
They're shitty products that no one wants.
No, that's not true.
No one wants it.
Apple is not one. Really, is that what you think Apple is?
Apple
anyway,
sucks.
The people that
Apple
took
sucks,
care of
Safi.
these accounts are no longer there.
Apple is a trash company, Safi.
Okay, Marco, we have. Isn't that an Apple computer? I see an Apple on it.
Yeah, and it's fucking garbage. I just bought a game on here for $10.99, and I can't even fucking play the game because it says the fucking Apple computer isn't up to fucking date, even though it says it's up to fucking date on the fucking Apple computer.
Okay, no,
it says fucking version 12.10.3, and it says this has to be fucking 16. And it's like, okay, fuck you. Like, why can't I play my fucking game? It's a fucking computer. I bought the fucking game to play the fucking game.
Okay, Marco, that's stupid. Anyway, for you to say that.
This fucking Apple sucks.
Anyway, this thing with Twitter is a lot more to it than what... It's true what he says, some of it, but the thing is... well, I'm not going to go into it, but there's a lot more to it than
not.
Appears to
No, there's
be
not.
What is being said.
Especially with a twat waffle like Kathy Griffin.
Okay, Marco,
Okay.
But she doesn't have anything to do with this.
So, next episode.
Going on Twitter.
Speaking of twat waffles, we have First Person Shooter, which is the most anti-men thing that I've ever seen.
It's just stupid. It's just another show.
It's a propaganda episode.
It's just like, and to watch it, it was like I could hardly watch it. And the Scully and Mueller dress up like they're in a video game.
Yeah.
Like they're, like when people dress up as fighters, like, what is that? The karate thing. Well, they wear these fighting clothes, and they're like uniforms, and they look stupid wearing them.
Especially Mulder.
Yeah, and he's wearing these weird sunglasses, and it's so distracting to see him look like idiots and act like idiots. Marco's talking about all this
because it is so anti-men. It's not even funny.
Yeah, Marco talks like that, but I forget that. Just looking at them made me sick.
It's not only anti-men, but it's anti-video games. Like those.
Oh yeah.
Those fucking retarded conservatives who say that video games cause violence. This whole episode is based on Columbine and how some people who are mentally retarded think that the Columbine people, they think that they shot up the school because they play video games. And they think that the video games caused them to shoot up the school. And so this whole episode is basically anti-video game, anti-men propaganda. It's sickening, it's gross, it's disgusting. The whole episode, like Scully, she's like shaming the men on the show for liking video games, talking about how, the typical talking points. Women on video games don't look like real women. Wah! There's no women who look like the women in video games. Wah! And it's like, actually there is. It's just that you're fucking jealous that you don't look like it. You look like fucking giraffe in clothes. So And then you have all this other stuff with, like, there's this female employee at the video game company, and she isn't taken seriously because she's a woman. And you know, it's a boys' club, and there are all these toxic men at this video game company, and it's the worst.
Okay, we have to move on. The next one is Shapes. This is the last one of the top, the lowest 10 of the series.
This is the Native American episode, which is why it's so bad, is because they should have made a good Native American episode.
Yeah, Tony Hillerman probably, I think he was still alive when they did this, but they did do a pretty good Navajo one, but this was the most terrible, and it was disrespectful because we have Native Americans all over the country. Maybe there's places where there's more than others, and they'd be so willing to have their cultures well represented, and there's no excuse for this to be so bad. That they could have done better research, and had a better story. And it's so disgusting. Just irritating.
I don't really have much else to say about it, because the thing is that
boring.
I thought this was a D episode. It was so boring, it made me fall asleep.
Yeah, terrible. And it shouldn't be like that. Tony Hillerman wrote several books about, Navajo, and then all Hopi, and all those different cultural groups in the Southwest. And he managed to make good stories, and why they couldn't do that, it takes some effort. They're being paid to do a show, and they could do the research and make the effort, and they didn't. And it was boring, and it was disrespectful and stupid. It really irritated me.
It was just bad. Like, it wasn't the worst thing ever, but this was their one chance. Like, they had all these episodes where it was just their only chance to do this. Like with the Chupacabra, that was their only Mexican folktale episode. That was shitty. That was a shitty episode. And then 3, the vampire episode. That's their only vampire episode, and it's shitty.
And now that was so far removed from being a vampire, and I mean, you know how many vampire stories and movies and TV shows and there are about vampires, and that thing was so far off the mark. Ugh. So anyway, these were the lowest 10 episodes of the X-Files series, which included 2 movies.
So, Safi, you ready to see David Duchovny's fridge? Here.
Maybe we should stop and do 10 bests in a different video.
Yeah, we will do that. Here.
Okay.
Here's his fridge.
Hey, David. It's Men's Health. Here's here, Jim the fridge.
Oh, hello. What a surprise. Come on. Let's go take a look.
Safi, and now here's the first thing. Safi, you really think that David Duchovny answers his front door? Or do you think he has some Mexican woman answer it for him?
I don't know.
Like some illegal maid of his to answer it for him?
I don't know.
Like, I don't think he fucking answers his front door.
This is California.
What staples do you always have in your fridge?
The Californians.
Kombucha.
Ew.
Oh, gross. Oh, God, Safi. Oat milk. Barista edition. What the fuck is a barista edition?
It's called Oatly. The original Oatly.
It's called fucking pretentious fuckly. And we got health egg kombucha, cherry berry, organic orange juice. I mean, ew, Safi.
What if he was to find out that really wasn't what he thought it was?
Ew, like maybe it's made out of Gillian Anderson's her skin, like she just shaves off skin like Parmesan cheese and puts it in some oat milk and sells it, and she calls it Scully milk.
Okay, that's dumb.
You know, like Oatly, Scully. Scoliosis.
Show a little bit more of it, and then we should wrap up the video.
I'm mostly vegetarian.
Look, he can barely talk. Why can't he talk like a human being? He's just like mumbling. Here, let's see. He's got strawberries, just all these fucking berries.
Well,
like,
that's
God.
because they have everything. You can get everything in California.
Even has dingleberries in there somewhere. Oh, look, there's some Kerrygold butter. That's our favorite butter.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's got some
Irish butter.
sauces, olives.
I'm mostly
Nothing that looks
vegetarian.
very
Ew.
filling.
Yeah. Lemon beet hummus.
Ew, sounds awful. Hummus? That sounds horrible.
This guy,
Mostly vegetarian, but not fully.
he's just like.
Oh. He can't be vegetarian because he's eating salmon.
That's what he sounds like. Like, what the fuck is that? Is that lemon juice? Oh, there's maple syrup. As if he eats actual pancakes.
Alright, so this should be in everybody's fridge. These are jams that Louis Dreyfus sent me that she made.
Ooh, she's got some
I don't know if
jams.
she wants you to know about her jams, but now you do. This could be the last two I ever get.
She
because
made
I gave away
that?
her secret.
Yeah.
What's your go-to protein when you're not?
Oh, he's got Beyond Beef. Ooh.
Well, to each his own.
Now we know-
I don't care for that.
Now we know the real reason why he acted like that in these X-Files. It's because he's so hungry and he's a zombie because he's just eating chemical goo that tastes like meat.
Gross. No, but they do have plants. I've seen them sticking out of the food.
Ooh, tofu and tempeh are both great natural sources of protein. Yeah, if you're fucking
He looks terrible.
yeah, here's the seaweed. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Look.
It does,
Look
it's
at
not
his
even rolled
face.
properly
Look
either. I've seen Nami do her seaweed things, and she has a roller. It's just a mat. It looks like a shade.
39 degrees.
Blind.
He's got his, oh, look, he's almost out of eggs.
There's only one egg.
There's two eggs, 2 or 3. And then it says 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's he's going to talk about his daughter's sandwich.
Salmon and
You can barely hear him.
my daughter makes a great sandwich with
My dad makes a great sandwich with the
This
seaweed.
is from a TikTok video.
and seaweed wraps. And she says it's from TikTok. It's hard to imagine food on TikTok, but I guess it is.
How are your skills in the kitchen?
Oh, whoops.
Okay. Well, it reminds me, I'm going to have to
Let's
make
turn on the
dinner.
captions.
Oh. Mm.
I think I was too impatient that like it says 45 minutes at 350, I got 35 minutes at 5.
What would we never see?
Never seen my fridge. Said it, right?
What do you usually have for breakfast?
Usually just coffee, right?
He just drank some coffee for breakfast.
That's not healthy at all.
I take it black with a little egg milk.
Ew.
Ew.
Here, a layer of milk and it has like a line of kind of a
A creamer substitute. Jesus.
Oh. Okay.
Safi,
That's
this
enough
is
now.
gross.
Okay, well,
He's got vegetable juice concoctions too. Ew. Mushroom supplements. Ugh.
why don't you have to eat the mushrooms? I mean, California.
Peanut
is
butter
a
collagen.
lot in mushrooms.
Look, Safi, peanut butter collagen.
Okay, that's
What the
enough.
fuck is that?
I don't know, but let's wrap it up
Look.
now.
collagen peptide
Tomorrow
drink
we
mix.
will do the top 10
So lean.
X-Files video.
And so clean. Oh, it's collagen fuel. It's fuel, Safi. Because David Duchovny needs fuel. And you can tell he needs fuel because he always acts like he's about to fall asleep like fucking Junior on Chucky.
Okay, well, it's time to
But let's
wrap
see
it
what
up.
else. Let's see what else he's got.
Well, let's wrap it up.
Let's see what else he's got.
I have to make dinner.
Oh, favorite comfort foods. Tofu. Oh, cereal.
Pie, cereal, and yogurt. What kind of pie?
He's not methodical. It helps the spirit.
Okay.
Now let's go to the gym. Hey, look, he's going to the gym.
Okay, that's enough. That's just his garage.
he's he can barely do anything because he's old. He's got an X-Files arcade machine. Look, he can barely breathe. Safi, look, he has
Okay, so if you like this
he-
video,
he
please
has
give it a thumbs up.
he has an Aquarius poster.
Season 1, it didn't beyond that.
It had a season 2.
It did?
Yeah, remember, didn't you watch it? You watched, like, I don't know, like,
No,
you,
I didn't watch
I guess
very many of them.
you just watched season 1, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck this crap.
Well, I just don't like wasting my time.
And that's
Okay, well,
season
anyway.
2.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to become one of our subscribers. We welcome all of you for your commentary.
Unless you like
And
Aquarius.
if you have anything to say about X-Files or Aquarius,
Aquarius.
or Duchovny,
Aquarius.
or Gillian Anderson, or the Cigarette Man,
Giraffe and
we
Anderson.
welcome your comments. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.